Hello guys, it's Vita here from Ukraine and I'm specially live streaming for you from Sumy. Welcome today for my live stream. We have 1 hour with you today and today's topic is if Eastern European women are gold diggers or perfect wives. So, guys, if you are tired of the hook up dating scene America, and if you are tired swiping left and right on dating apps, trying to find your ideal match, and if you're giving up on finding a traditional women that truly wants to settle down with you for life, then we have an option for you. Well, if that sounds like you, like your story, then you have come to the right place. And I assure you there is hope for you if you play your cards right. So the more you match and share, the more you will understand what makes us mysterious Ukrainian women tick. And now, guys, as always, a short video. I will show you a short video explaining more about how our channel can help you in your story, in your journey, and detail about our membership options. Here is the video, guys.
You can make subscription in YouTube on two basic levels of the most beneficial for you at Buy Me a Coffee. So next I will explain to you all the options and some benefits you can have from this membership and subscription. Membership of $100 a month for 6 months at Buy Me a Coffee will provide you grandfathered lifetime matchmaking with match guarantee. It is limited, the only 7 members, so if you are serious about finding a wife in Ukraine but not ready yet, this is your chance to save $10,000 and make step toward your dream. I will explain you guys. Our price at Match Guarantee already increased to $20,000. But for those 7 guys who will subscribe for this membership level at $100 per month during 6 months, so during all this time, you will receive your education here on the channel, and then you can receive this package with the opportunity to choose unlimited dating, unlimited ladies from our database for just $10,000, not for 20. You will receive some like men's chats like Borch Brothers. You will still have this chat when you can communicate between yourself about our idea which we wanted to deliver here, Ukraine Dating 2.0, and about opportunity to bring some ladies who are ready for dating. It also still can be an option. Also, guys, it will depend on your support. We can deliver this service, educational service as well. We will find and we will try provide more streamers, Ukrainian real ladies who will be open, and my own tips for you. We will still have this option at Buy Me a Coffee to buy a bouquet of flowers. And guys, I'm not sure did you know this before to use this option. Some of guys probably understood this. You can buy a bouquet of flowers to any of potential streamers who staying in search, who are single, and you can as well add to this bouquet of flowers a card with any information you want. So you can add a letter, so you can deliver some message to a lady. So you can start here like a real opportunity just to start your communication. And if lady like you back, so of course you can communicate in real life.
And guys, first, we want to tell you how grateful and thankful we are for the support you provide to our project every month. And it's only because of you guys that we are able to keep it going, providing you a very important opportunity to understand Slavic women, because understanding is, of course, the key to building any successful relationship And we want to congratulate our once-in-a-lifetime members and remind you that there are only 3 spots left. And remind you that 3 guys still have a chance to jump in to our once-a-lifetime opportunity to steal our coveted lifetime matchmaking for 50% off. So, which is actually 10K. So see terms and conditions in the description below this video and all the rest of our videos. And guys, as always, who would like to cam share right at the live stream with me or any of your beloved live streamers, please remember what you need to do. And of course, if you're already a member, you can cam share face to face right now by following these 2 simple steps. So step number 1, enter the unique StreamYard link for today live stream into your browser, and that will bring you right in the studio back end. And step number 2, you must read your full name and YouTube name for admin verification. When you enter the web studio, please be sure that your camera and audio are turned on. So guys, that was the main general information for you. And guys, today's topic is Eastern European women. Are they gold diggers or traditional wives? Today we have a little bit different format of our stream, of our live stream. So we're gonna discuss one very interesting video. So I will show you this video. I guess you know the person who will be talking on this video. And we're gonna discuss it, or I will share you my opinion, my ideas from the point of view of not only women, but specifically Ukrainian women, in the points where I agree or disagree with these men. But as for foreigner, I decide and I want to tell before in advance that his ideas almost quite close and he's doing absolutely fine. So he understands the system here. But let's get back to this video, guys, and we're gonna discuss. So after some period of time, I will make some pauses and will give you my ideas, will share with you my opinion. And then if we have time, because remember, we meet with you only for 1 hour, hopefully we will manage to be in these time frames. And after, I will be back for your comments. So prepare your questions regarding this topic. If for some reason, because can be, we don't have enough time to answer your questions, but the topic is really nice and interesting for you, I guess. Please, tomorrow we can discuss the continue discussing of this topic today. So let's get started.
Work I do my husband. I am great at turning billionaires into millionaires by just marrying them. I don't have an OnlyFans. I have one OnlyFans and an endless subscription to his wallet. I don't shake my ass. I shake my husband's assets. Dating a guy just because he has a supercar? Pfft, foo. Marry a guy because he has a supercar and boom, you own half of it. Call me a gold digger. At least I have gold.
So there you have quite a typical stereotype of Eastern European women. The gold digger, that contrasts quite considerably with the other main stereotype, in my opinion, a canard, which is that Eastern European women are the complete opposite of those radical Western feminists. They are traditional women.
So guys, as you understand, yeah, the first episode of video was really funny to my mind, but to some extent typical lady, one of Ukrainian lady, these Barbie dolls, you know, this one of Instagram bloggers or beauties who likes to share their 24/7 live schedule with you. So actually that was ridiculous, yeah, to listen to her accent and what she's telling. But unfortunately, some of ladies here really has this mindset. Hopefully you will be wise enough not to get into trap of such a Barbie doll here. And now the guy will explain you how was his trip in the Eastern Europe, Ukraine, including Ukraine, also Russia, Belarus, Poland, Lithuania. So, and he will share with you actually what he thinks about Ukrainian women. Are we really gold diggers or traditional wives? So let's continue.
What does that entail? Is it true? That's what I'm going to explain to you in this video. Поехали!
Tsar experience.
So let me deal with the gold digger slash scammer slash hooker stereotype first. Now this used to be the main stereotype about Eastern European women when I first started to come here. I actually came to this city, Odessa, Ukraine in 2009. I had actually been in St. Petersburg in Russia and in Lithuania, Latvia the year before, in the Baltics, also been in Poland. I know Poland is not Eastern Europe, it is the eastern part of Central Europe, but basically the same stereotype applied when I was coming from the West. I was in Western Europe, living in Western Europe at the time. Is that, oh, the women over there, kind of, where are you going? They're all gold diggers, they're scammers, or they're hookers. And
so guys, actually you see he's comparing countries in which he had been, but before, in advance, I would like to say he compare actually Ukraine and Russia, and as we said, anyway, even if we are similar and we look the same, but mentality is absolutely different, and that model of behavior is different between Ukrainian and Russian women. And of course, I don't want to tell about Poland, Lithuania, because that's really different mentality. So we can't be. But yeah, this stereotype, we have this, you know that also quite well, that some guys, especially who had a very bad, unfortunately bad experience with Ukrainian or Eastern European women, if we are talking about Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, yeah, of course, they all will keep telling that we are gold diggers, scammers, or hookers. So further, he will explain if he really thinks so.
And let me deal with the gold digging part. First, what is a gold digger? A gold digger is a person who looks for a transactional relationship that's based on money or resources more than any sort of emotional attachment or interest or love or any of those kind of things. Normally that's stereotypically a woman because of female hypergamy, which is the trend of women to seek partners or mates who are on the same socioeconomic status level as them or higher. And in general, just women have less access to money by themselves on average across the world. So that's normally why we have a stereotype of women being the gold diggers. And I would say that here in Eastern Europe, there is less shame in being a gold digger than in the West. It's more socially acceptable or less.
This part I want to make some pause. Yeah, very important to mention that he's true enough, absolutely, that here it's considered to be, more shameful. Western women, they think they are more open about that, and they are more open to express their real feelings. So if they consider they need money and they don't want to pay for themselves and they want just, to stay at home and want just money from men, they will be more honest, I guess, to tell what they really think, because that's also the part of feminism. They are not trying to look better than they are. So here I am who I am, and just accept me as I am. If you like it or not. If you're okay, then yes. If not, just go away. That's it. Ukrainian women, yes, still, we consider this to be quite shameful. And I know a lot of good Ukrainian women who actually suffered from this attitude and this stamp on us, while traveling abroad. I had personally very bad experience while working in Turkey, because we all had this stereotype, Natasha, Turkish people from Arabian countries like Egypt, they called us Natasha. Why Natasha? Because the most frequent and common name here. And unfortunately, those Natashas made this stereotype. But this is not stereotype. This is part also of, some percentage of Ukrainian women who are really, we can call Natasha. We can't do nothing with that. So that's true.
looked down upon in general, and as a result women are a little bit more open about it, saying I want the man for money or whatever. I wouldn't actually say in reality that gold diggers are more prevalent here. Second thing, the scamming. Well, I have dubbed this city in the past has been Scam Central Odessa Mama because the amount of romance scams that were going on. This was a center for the matchmaking business, the marriage agency business, where stereotypically a guy, we'll say in his 50s, overweight, disheveled, not the highest value on the dating market back in somewhere in the Midwest in the United States, would come here and have a bevy of dramatically younger, better looking women from Ukraine, all lined up, all dying to meet him. But of course, in general, this was not the reality. There was a huge scam business around it, whether it was with the matchmakers, but also, you know, these women who are the scammers, they are looking for their victims, right?
So let's stop here. Yes, I should absolutely agree with him because, you know, and I mentioned many times in my streams that I really don't like Odessa. I don't evaluate less the significance of this city, the beauty, the history, okay, the ancient architecture, but I don't like atmosphere in Odessa because I personally, I have been working there, I have been living there for some period of time, I have friends there, and honestly, it's a beautiful city, of course, like kind of high class of city, yeah, with the perfect restaurants, perfect places to hang around, discourse, you know, all these luxurious, all these stages, parts of luxurious life. And of course, it's full of foreigners. It's full of foreigners. So there are really absolutely great amount of beautiful ladies because mostly they have good financial status, not much. Some of them, of course, have their own business. They are self-developed, self-sufficient. They can provide themselves. They can earn money because they have good education. You know, they have a lot of possibilities. This is developed city, not like Sumy, you know, or Zhytomyr or some other cities, which are still considered to be nice. But yeah, Odessa, it's a high class of city, like Kiev, like Lviv, for example, right? So of course, there are lots of girls who has a lot of sponsors who are just due to their beauties has a very great opportunity not to do anything except to use their beauty to get money, not by their brains but by their bodies, of course. So that's why I know a lot of stories among my friends, foreign friends, I mean, from my matchmaking experience, from my ex-clients, that really people like to go to Odessa because of the climate, because of the beauty of this city, yeah, because of the status also of this city, and because the amount of local beauties. But unfortunately, I absolutely agree with him that Odessa is kind of scamming center, you know, really a lot of matchmaking agencies, and all these people have kind of agreements with restaurants, with cafe, with hotels, with taxi drivers, with even in some like shopping centers, some special boutiques. They all even can get commission that can find that can sounds really strange, but always girls have their own, like, you know, they are working like a team. So they have all their staff, personal staff, like translator, familiar waitresses, you know, familiar shop assistant, familiar taxi drivers, familiar people who can give accommodation for rent. And from all these, you won't believe, probably some of you know, probably, but some not, they can get absolutely high commission. Some girls specifically bring you to a specific restaurant, and the bigger the bill, the bigger commission she will get. After you gone, so the girl come back for her commission. She may bring guy to shopping, and of course she will not buy some shoes for 20 bucks, right? So she will try to choose something really expensive, and of course she will be back for her commission, or maybe she will bring she will bring these shoes even back and get in money the whole price, maybe giving some part, of course, to shop assistant, you know. So they all have this scamming scheme. This scamming scheme, they can get and sell and give back and get the money back. So that's a well-known fact. Even if you bring like a customer or client for taking a rent of accommodation or some flat, some nice apartment, so the price plus, so the owner of the apartment also can pay then for bringing the client. So Odessa, really true. It's a vicious place, really. So be careful there.
So they would go to sign up to marriage agencies, deal with matchmakers in order to scam the guys, and have maybe an agreement with a restaurant around here, or they bring the guy and go shopping with him and lead him on. They could also do it via Tinder. There was actually a bar restaurant just up there that was notorious before this war, Russo-Ukrainian war, expanded in 2022. I see the restaurant is actually closed and has been closed for a while because there are no victims, or they would just hang out at a nightclub that would attract a lot of tourists. And the main reason for that is there's just so many thirsty, desperate men from the West coming here, trying their luck with local women, but not having any clue about how the social dynamics work here in Eastern Europe. They didn't have any good guidance, and basically they probably weren't used to being scammed back in their home country, and very open to it, unfortunately, when they see an attractive woman. This is a stereotype that's actually not just here in Odessa, but basically around most of the region. And you can take it a step further. I made a video on the bouquet, which are a group of women, primarily from Russia, that teach other women how to extract resources from men.
Let's make a stop here. Yeah, even such a small detail I would like to add. I told you I have some foreign friends who can come sometimes to Ukraine or even to Sumy. So even if the person is, whom I know, of course, want to, for example, to call a taxi, I always do it instead of him, though we all have application for calling taxi, like what is this very famous taxi, Uber, Uklon, Bolt. We have different applications for taxi, and they can be absolutely in English. No problem for foreigner actually to call the taxi. You just need to show spots from where to where you can go. But sometimes when you need to call, I prefer to do that myself. Why? And desirably to be with the person, because if the person just sit in the car and the driver see he is a foreigner, automatically price will get like double or maybe even triple, not only in Odessa, in Sumy as well, not to that extent, but believe me, the real price, the real cost, even from getting from airport, let's say from Borispil up to Sumy, is doubled by matchmaking companies, usually just because he is a foreigner. So it's good if you have someone probably who can help you in all supermarkets. Of course, in supermarkets, when there is a fixed price, you can't, you can't be scammed, of course. But in some local storages or some really like marketplace where there's no prices and you come just to buy some meat or greenery, people seeing you are not local person, of course, will try to take an advantage from you. Unfortunately, not all, but in most cases, yes. So we continue.
It's kind of almost hilarious, the chutzpah that they have in trying to get guys to pay for all their stuff all the time. So you have these kind of scammers, and again, I think there's a combination of a few different factors, like the local culture being a little bit more about women being less emancipated, and guys paying for stuff kind of leaves a little bit more open to this, and you have disingenuous women to try and take advantage of it. But the main reason is, especially with foreigners, the number of desperate simps, and these women will seek them out because that's their main objective. And then the third part of this kind of immoral, shall we say, stereotype of Eastern Europe women is the hooker. stereotype. Now, I think because of socioeconomic factors and the fact that women here are in such demand worldwide for their beauty, definitely there are a lot of women, a significant number of women who do go abroad to prostitute themselves or here locally. I don't really ever come across it. I guess if you're not looking for it, you don't really see it so much.
Yeah, let's stop here. He's absolutely, this is absolutely true. By the way, it was kind of trendy once I explained also, but for those who missed, yeah, in Ukraine, prostitution is like in the list of top jobs, right? And because of physical attractiveness, from really desperate places, desperate cities, like a lot of girls from Crimea when it was still in Ukraine, because what people can earn there, almost nothing. They can earn during the season, touristic season, only when tourists came. And by the way, as well, for foreigners, prices like not only doubled by maybe 10 times more for everything, for accommodation, for services, for taxi, for fruits, for, entertainment, whatever. So what girls can do there, they can't earn for the whole year round, and because of their physical attractiveness, yeah, they prefer to go abroad to be as a prostitutes. I really also don't come across right now that much too, because he was absolutely correct saying if you're not looking for, you probably don't come across too often of that. Yeah, if you don't pay attention or not searching specifically. Yeah, if you dig deeper, yeah, you will find a lot of some hidden companies, with the phone numbers, even in Google and all the rest, even locally. I mean, locally. For me, that also was surprise. But all over the world, unfortunately, our girls, local girls, are considered to be probably the highest percentage of prostitutes. And this trend, I would call that trend, started at the beginning of 20s, and it was even fashionable here. I won't be afraid to call it fashionable, because it was really fashionable for many girls. And it wasn't even a shame, and some guys were even proud because they were sitting here, let's say even Sume, they were waiting for their girls until they, have sex for money somewhere in South Africa or Austria or Japan or Czech Republic or Poland or Moscow or Saudi Arabia or Lebanon. So Belgium, Switzerland, all over the world, Germany as well. So, and after these girls earn good money there, and in comparison with local incomes, of course, they can earn really good money. They come back here and they could do really a lot of things. Almost all of those girls, they were not desperate. They become kind of rich. They were buying cars. They were able to buy some apartments for them, for their moms, for example. They were able to open even some small, let's say, beauty salon or hairdress salon or nails office, something like that. And it wasn't a shame. That actually was irritating me even then, because these ladies, if you come here, like let's say 2002, 2003, 2005, 6, up to 2010, even this period, like 10 years, you could see a lot of girls really physically nice, beautiful, in a very expensive, luxurious clothes, shoes, expensive perfumes. So they were really looking not like a cheap horse, sorry for this comparison and rude word, but like really exclusive, prostitutes, and expensive. And they were working in the center of the city, just hanging around with girlfriends, not even trying to hide themselves. By their look and appearance, you could easily understand, because they get a very big contrast with all the rest local girls, right? And everybody just looking at them, we're understanding from where they came, and it wasn't a shame. Yeah, of course, for normal people, for smart people, it always have been a shame, right? But for shallow-minded people, it was kind of proud. And this, even in during the daytime, in the afternoon, these girls had a kind of habit to sit in the restaurants to drink some martini. It was very trendy and fashionable at that time. So, and actually, it was very funny because if you had a sunburn during the winter, everybody thought you are a prostitute or you came from some country abroad, because you need to have a sunburn because it's popular there, like to be more sexy, you know, like you care about your body and you have money in those 2000s, you know, for sunburn, artificial sunburn, right? So yeah, he's absolutely right about that. And we continue, guys.
And definitely they, just in general, if you speak Russian or another local language here, like a Ukrainian in this country, or Romanian and Moldova, etc., then these kind of women in general, whether the gold diggers, scammers, or the hookers, they tend to avoid you anyways because they don't see you as a mark. You don't look like the low-hanging fruit for them. But yeah, you should be screening for all of these things. You will see, you know, if a girl has a suspicious Instagram. Instagram is a great source of information because then you can see where she's been hanging out, what kind of profile she has. And a lot of the indicators are there. A popular place to go as a gold digger or as a hooker is the Middle East. So, for example, that could be Dubai. Not that it's automatic. If the girl is in Dubai, she may have other good reasons to be there, but is, you know, a potential red flag. That does happen quite a lot for those factors that I mentioned. But in summary, once you are able to screen through that small segment of Eastern European female society, part of that, you know, the part that is engaged in either being a gold digger, a scammer, or a hooker or a prostitute, then you hang out with the rest of the society, which is none of those things. So yeah, let's get into the more common stereotype I think we find nowadays, which is the traditional woman here. So now the trad wife stereotype. This has become particularly prevalent in the last, I'd say, about 5 years here in Eastern Europe, and it's mainly because of the amount of marketing that's gone into it, driven by either scam, what we call PPL sites, which are paper letter sites, is online chat of some sort, where they try to be the ideal trad wife for a lot of guys in the West, and they just basically scam them, or it's actually the matchmaking, marriage agency, romantic tour business here that pumps a lot of money into describing Eastern European women. It used to be centered again here in Ukraine, but also to a certain extent to Russia, to Belarus, to Moldova in general. And then you have, I think, a little bit more coming in from the political side that, well, radical feminism has become, let's be frank about it, a scourge in the West. And then the contrast to that is to talk about traditional women. Say, over there in that place, they're untouched by radical feminism, because radical feminism is not a big thing here in Eastern Europe. So there are all these trad wives, they're all there looking like supermodels and pleasing their men non-stop and baking cookies and you know, pumping out children and basically being this complete polar opposite to women in the West, or the radical.
So guys, yeah, let's make a short break here. Yeah, I absolutely agree with him that the image of Ukrainian women as a perfect and traditional wives were pumped up artificially. Probably it came somehow from somewhere, but I don't agree that it was only 5 years ago, because how much I remember myself, it's much longer than 5 years. Yeah, about romantic tours, I guess like 5 or maybe even more, like 8 years something. But these PPL sites and dating sites and companies, which actually were based on earning on poor foreigners who came here, who paid for taxi from Borispol up to Sumy, like double price, who paid much more for accommodation, which company organized for him, you know. So normal price was like let's say $30 per night, let's say. But yeah, the company took like 50 or 60 like poor foreigners who should pay for translators absolutely cosmic, huge, enormous money. Because if the lady cannot speak English, no communication, then no developing of relationship, and you can't waste your time. And I can tell you, being a translator while you translating for dating couples, really big and good money. Of course, that's job, that's knowledge, and that's very tiresome and exhausting. But unfortunately, not all translators were honest, and also was part of scheming, of scamming schemes. Because the task, very often, the task of translator were to lead the guy to buy something expensive for her, to translate in a right way, not exactly what she says, but what they planned to say together, because normally they agree how this date will be. And of course, the poor guy had to pay for food, for transportation, and for presents, for translating of this translator. And if you can understand, on those times, yeah, even in Sume, we had a lot of companies like that who were earning just on translating letters, on sending these bouquets and fruits. I have been working in such company. I explained in one of my videos when I was younger. Yeah, but after one situation, I really wasn't long there, but long enough to understand how all this works. Yeah, and they actually, when the foreigner sent to that company like a bouquet of flowers and fruits and chocolates and something, that was also part of scamming scheme. Yeah, they were buying, or they were going to special place, pay some little money, get the set of what actually was ordered by the foreigner, by poor guy, brought the lady to the office, make a photo, write down some short letter. That's it. Goodbye, fruits back, flowers back, money back. That's it. So, yeah. And it was very popular since, guys, I was, yeah, already like 13, 15 years ago here, and it was blossoming here. Yeah, so he is right, but I think the story is much, 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 much longer. And now let's get back to his opinion. Are really Ukrainian women so traditional as they say? Due to marketing, of course, due to marketing. And by the way, you can see also that the foreigners themselves, as business owners, they got into this business much later, much later. Some, of course, because they wanted to help their compatriots, to have honest service and not to be scammed. And some actually saw a good resource of getting really big money, specifically from their compatriots. So let's continue, guys.
Feminist part of Western society. So this is obviously great marketing to guys that are frustrated with their options in the West, but the reality is most of these marriage agencies are basically pitching traditional single moms to you, which is an oxymoron, which is a really beautiful oxymoron to think about, right? So what is the reality here? Let me start with the part of it that is truer than the other part, and that is that here in Eastern Europe, women are less emancipated in general, and as a result, they are more willing to sacrifice their career, for example, or what they have in terms of work in order to focus on child rearing and maybe more domestic parts of the work that needs to be done in a couple. Also, obesity for women under 40 more or less is very rare here in Eastern Europe. As I've also mentioned, radical feminism not a thing here. So none of this body positivity and being...
Let's stop here. So you see, you asked me, guys, many times about feminism. if really Ukrainian women are spoiled by by radical feminism, yeah. But you see, I can absolutely agree. Our ladies still not so much spoiled. Yeah, we have some representatives, that's for sure. You should understand. People going abroad, people living in foreign countries, then coming back and bring these principles or mindset and share this among their friends. But you also should remember, we are not so flexible, to change our mindset, and mostly still we are more traditional still, thanks God, and we are not so easy to be spoiled, by the way. That's very nice, very, very nice fact. Yeah.
50 kilos overweight and been proud of it, and yeah, hating on men with like the radical feminists, that is definitely not something you're going to see in general. I have other videos about this, about the obesity thing, but under 40, more or less, there's no obesity. Actually, over 40, there is actually a good bit of overweightness here in Eastern Europe, but when they are still on the dating market in general, they are slim and trim. So that part.
Yeah, as we mentioned as well, our ladies keep to be try to be fit and be physically attractive for their men, really, for a very long time, as much as possible. You can find even here 50, even 55, even 60-year-old women who will be trendy, fashionably dressed up, who will use cosmetic, who will look really like a woman, not like a babushka, not like a granny. And about single moms, oxymoron, as he said, I absolutely agree, because traditional single moms, so if something went wrong, so she means she's not so much traditional. But in this way, don't forget that in most cases, single moms, why they are divorced? They are divorced mostly because of the inappropriate behavior of their Ukrainian husbands, because the lady who is single is much easier, to stop relationship, to go away. But the ladies with with children, how it often happens here, she doesn't have so many opportunities to leave the husband, especially if the property is not hers. Sometimes her relatives' mom can be against, because, traditionality, these principles, or you got married, so you have to be with your husband till the end. The family should be complete. The children should have father, maybe even bad father, but still a father. So that all makes, of course, the things happen here. But you should remember that women with kids, of course, I can't say that they are not traditional, just they got into bad story and probably couldn't be more patient. And if they divorced, probably they could have much more reasons than a single woman, because you remember, for single woman it's much easier, but for the woman with kids, when you don't have money, you probably stayed all the time at home, you don't have your own property or even place to stay, that's much more difficult. So I wouldn't say so categorically here about brackets for the word traditional, concerning single moms here in Ukraine. And about obesity, we have overweighted people, men and women and even teenagers, yes, that's for sure. But in general, if you walk along the streets, you will see, if we look even in percentage, slim and fit and people with okay bodies, you will see much more. And of course, the ladies, if they are single or if they have couple, they will try to keep their bodies, shaped, because they understand how much physical attractiveness is important, because the market of brides is really wide and, bright. That's why they should keep their men by their bodies and appearance.
Part definitely has a lot of truth to it. Think of it in terms of maybe what it would have been like in the West, maybe in the US back in the maybe up until the 1970s, 80s with second wave feminism, as opposed to third and fourth wave feminism, which is radical feminism. That would be where the society is more or less. And also you should remember that Eastern Europe is quite big. You have the Caucasus, for example, which is a lot more conservative and really traditional. And then you have places like Ukraine, Poland, as I said, Central Europe, but eastern part of Central Europe, the Baltics, Belarus, Russia, which are a lot more liberal, I would say, and less traditional than you're going to find maybe also in parts of Central Asia. Kazakhstan, big cities like Almaty and Astana, where I've been, are less traditional than you're going to find out obviously in the countryside. And that's another thing. There's obviously, as you'd expect, a difference in terms of being more traditional. The older people are, and also more rural they are, as opposed to living in a big city, which tends to be more modern in my.
Yeah, I also would mention here, we also talked, I guess Renee asked last time, not last time, but in one of our previous live streams about traditionality or difference of mentality. Oh, no, it wasn't Renee, it was somebody else. About rural people, you know, and city people. Of course, the difference will be huge. Don't forget about that. But level of education as well will be huge. Some people from there, if they really have brilliant brains, you know, and strong character, they can come out of village and build career and build absolutely new model of life, not that they were expecting in the village. That's for sure. And all the generation, guys, remember also the fact, almost all of you who are sitting in this chat, right? And almost all of clients of matchmaking companies, they are people 35 plus in majority of cases. Because, you know, I guess 25, 30, even 35-year-old guys, they are able to find still local lady. They are not so much disappointed still by their local ladies. Probably they have some negative experience, but not so much. So they still have hope. Because of this, I guess, I feel, they don't look too much into Eastern European countries finding a bride here, right? But the guys with the older age who already, like, you know, probably had their family, a lot of datings, a lot of women, and they have this experience and they know that there is nothing to expect there anymore, just maybe a miracle, you know. So that's why the biggest percentage of contingent, you know, of these people who are coming here and who are looking for brides in Ukraine, they are middle age plus and older. So if you are realistic and if you are smart enough and if you got not only my lessons but all the rest of our girls' lessons and you got this knowledge and experience we share with you, you should be realistic, I hope, by this moment. And you should be realistic about the age gap. And age gap in the meaning of traditionality and being spoiled by radical feminism as well, you know, it's a very important issue. So the younger girl you are looking for, the more issues with feminism and non-traditionality you're gonna deal with. The older lady, the more traditional she will be, the more family oriented she will be, the more she will be more oriented for creating family, for bringing up kids, maybe not so much for career building. But younger generation, you should understand right now, under 30, they are all almost looking to European direction. The later you get married, the best. The later you have baby, the best. You cannot create the family until you are absolutely financially stable, you know. And sometimes that can last too long, you know. Sometimes that can be too late for ladies too, because they were choosing guys, they were waiting for some miracle, and then it's too late. No time for kids, no time for creating family, because all men are busy. So what happened? These women also part of these women start to look for grooms abroad. So that's why. And about Caucasus, yeah, absolutely agree with him. All Caucasian country, actually because of their religion, not because of something else, because of their religion, because they have still strict religious rules. It considered to be a shame, of course, to have a sexual relationship before getting married, to have few sexual partners, to hang around, to drink, to smoke. About scamming, we are not talking even. So, of course, if you really want like really traditional woman, you'd better go to mountains, to some Caucasian village, and there be sure you will find a virgin for you, non-smoking, non-drinking, not asking for money, really, who will just cook, clean, satisfy all your needs, will always keep silence. That's it. So if you're looking for such traditionality, you're welcome there. Here, people, of course, are more open-minded, more European oriented. They travel much more, and of course, not so much religious. That also influence greatly on the family model and on the whole behavior itself. Yeah, let's get back, guys. I see we have 10 minutes, so the main points, I guess we will be able, but I'm not sure if I will have time for your comments. Sorry.
Mindset. Here is the bad news for all of you who have been roped in by the traditional Eastern European wife marketing. You want to know what the divorce rate is in Eastern Europe? It's higher than in the West. Because that's one of the big things that guys pushing that, oh, the Western women are ruined, look at the divorce rate, look at the number of single moms. They don't even have an incentive in family law here to get divorced, and it's over 55%, right? Just basically the whole region. In terms of like what's normally marketed like Ukraine and Russia and Belarus. On top of that, number of children, fertility rate, lower than in the West. It's 1.3 as a generalization around here. Most of the West is somewhere between 1.5 and 2. That's not great. That's a problem in terms of the, regenerating the population, but 1.3 here. So they're not having large families either, and they're getting divorced, which means the typical single mom has one child, maximum two. She's probably in her early 30s when she's divorced. I did mention there are other parts that are more conservative or more traditional, to be exact, traditional. That would be that, sexual promiscuity is low, and actually that women get married as a virgin, or they have a body count, to use the new expression, of one for a life. And you'd find that in, say, the Caucasus, a lot more common. But, I looked online, because a lot of guys have asked me for info on this under other videos. I couldn't find stats for Ukraine, but I found them for Russia.
Let's stop here, guys. I would like to mention about stats for divorce and kids. Yeah, actually, he's right, but I think there is a reason. In Ukraine is a very poor developed law system for divorced people. So actually, divorce here is never guarantee for single mom that she will be okay. Never guarantee. So Ukrainian law cannot protect kids and moms. They cannot provide with accommodation, with some discounts for kindergarten payment. And what is the main, they cannot guarantee that the husband, even if the court establish the specific amount of payment for kids monthly, which every dad actually must pay for the child's provision, monthly. There is no guarantee. That's why I guess the statistic is a little bit different. Anyway, our ladies would like to be more free and try to get as much as they can until it's not too late. But as for Western families, I guess probably because because maybe of prenuptials or strict rules of prenuptials, maybe the statistic is less because people prefer to stay on the same territory, to live together, but pretending they are living together. Yeah, maybe even just sharing the one roof, but not officially be divorced, because their law system will definitely will bring all what single mom should get from the father. There is a guarantee. So that's why maybe guys try to keep the family stronger, maybe have some agreement between, wife. So I don't know what's the reason, but yeah, statistic of divorce here is, of course, I guess higher, because our guys like to drink, like to beat, like to cheat, and our women, most of them, they don't like to be patient in this situation. So that's why the more free, the sooner they get free, the more they can do for them in the perspective of the future, even to find a new husband. And yes, as for kids, of course, because the financial system is not good. It's still poor in Ukraine. I'm not talking even about the last year of the war, of course, then the amount of kids reduced naturally from the war events. And of course, a lot of men far away right now. So not so many pregnant women, but still we have, yeah, but will be much less. And because of financial problems, people are afraid to have 2, 3, 4 kids. Though I know people who has, among my friends, who has 3, 2 and more sometimes kids, and they are absolutely fine with that. But I think financial issues can be influencing this statistics number, right? Yeah.
In the Moscow Times, and it's claimed that 40% of Russian girls lose their virginity before the age of 15. And the age of consent in Russia is 16, right? So, wow, is that a traditional society?
Yeah, here is the very important point. I don't know really what's the statistic about losing virginity and in what age. We really have a high number, but in this point of view, I wouldn't agree with him, because I believe in America. Almost all teenagers already are not virgins, because I know, I read, I have friends there, and I know how it goes. Virginity is not more the value in Western culture. Also, the influence of radical feminism. Until I'm like a grown up person, I can do with my body whatever I want, and actually, no restrictions. Alcohol, though I know it's restricted, but still, they can do parties, they can smoke weeds, they can take drugs, and of course, under the influence of all these things, virginity is losing much easier and much faster, I guess. Still, here, kids don't have so easy approach to get this. They can, of course. We have a lot of girls who can lose their virginity at the teenage age. Yeah, but still, I believe, by the way, in countryside, these statistics will be even higher. And I believe that's all also due to the level of education of parents and of kids, of intelligence, and of being busy. The more busy parents, the less attention they can give to kids. Busy and tired, constantly tired parents who are trying to survive and thinking most of the time about that cannot pay so much attention for education and explaining things, and for sincere communication, for honest, open communication with kids, girls or boys, doesn't matter. But actually, there is the result. So I feel that village girls can lose virginity much earlier. But I really don't believe that the statistic in Ukraine here is higher than in America. Still. About Russia, I don't want even to talk, because they are all, we know, uh, virginity is also not a value for them anymore. And let it be so. That's their culture, that's their mentality and their story. Yeah, and we go back. Yeah.
Well, probably not what most people would think. And my purpose in bringing this up is not to shame women or say that they're not traditional, they're all whores or something. It's just to point out that this traditional stereotype doesn't really hold water. So if you are thinking that you're going to just rock up here in Eastern Europe and you're going to go to a traditional society, that's a misnomer. Do I think it's less woke? Woke is not even a thing here, but it is not a traditional society. It's actually one of the reasons I like it a lot, because I don't want to live in a society like, I don't know, Afghanistan and the Taliban looks pretty traditional to me, not very attractive. You know, in the past I've actually challenged some of my consulting clients who said they were looking for a traditional woman to come with me to Armenia for free, in fact. And you know how many took me up on it? 0. Why? Well, they're not as famed for their beauty, and they really do want to stay virgins until they get married in general. So that wasn't very attractive to these guys, but we did have something we could agree on, that is that in general, the women in Eastern Europe are on average a lot more beautiful than women in the West. So regardless of whether you think that they're traditional or that they're gold diggers, there's a reason why so many men in the West are interested in women from Eastern Europe, and especially in coming here, meeting someone. I guess in the past they were trying to bring the women back to the West, which for me just sounds like a terrible idea. If you're trying to escape the West, why bring a woman back, especially with family law in in the West. And actually, anecdotally, I talked to a guy who used to have a Russian wife in Canada, and he was in a group of Canadians that had wives from Eastern Europe. This is like maybe 15 years ago, and I asked him, well, after a couple of years, how many of them are still together? He said, well, less than 20%, because when they got there and realized how family law works and they already had their residency, the guy kind of became superfluous to requirements. So what I recommend is, if you can do it, set up your lifestyle to come here to Eastern Europe so you don't have to deal with all that hassle. So regardless.
Yeah, guys, that's it. That's it. So actually, in generally, in most cases, I absolutely agree. He does great, I guess. He understood the system. And here is the matter. Just, I guess, your personal matter. What is the meaning, definition of traditionality means specially for you? Because, for some people, for some men, what means traditional woman? Traditional woman who will listen to her husband, who would be okay to cook at least on weekends, for few days ahead, who will be okay to stay with children until they are babies, who will be breasting them, milking them, instead of giving them artificial shit, being afraid to spoil the shape of their breast. The girls who can stay with their babies without any suffer, instead of going to party with their colleagues or friends because she's sick and tired and she needs her own time and freedom. Normal things. That's the matter of normality, frames, and traditionality for everybody will be fine. I think we live in a modern society. Of course, should be moral frames and some time frames for losing virginity, even that, okay, for everybody it happens at a different age time, but there are some norms. Of course, that's not normal when girls losing virginity at the age of 15, 16, yeah, maybe even 17. I would measure my personal opinion. I would measure that up to 17 at least, at least. Of course, not earlier, and hopefully not, few guys in a row. When girls maybe don't appreciate their bodies, uh, the cleanness of their bodies, and precious things, actually. But we are not crazy. I also won't say that to be a virgin at the age of 25, that's a norm. Yeah, personally, for me, if you want to know my opinion, I don't think the lady at the age of 25 being a virgin, that's a normal woman. Honestly, I don't think that's a norm. We anyway live in a modern society. We can't live like that. So if for you traditionality means to get your wife at the age of 30, as many Muslim guys, by the way, want and think, that's the problem also with an Indian guy, with an Indian customers, clients, because they all want virginity and they all want virgin wife. But that's not working, not only in Ukraine, but almost all over the world. If you're sorry 35 and you're looking for wife being like 25, 28, or maybe even he's okay with the age of 30 but demands virgin, there is no miracle. And I wouldn't say that's a normal healthy woman if she's still in that if she's still in that condition position. Okay, so actually I agree with him for almost all. Some small issues I would disagree maybe a little bit, but actually he understands the system well, and that, you know, just the matter of your personal exception, what traditionality means specially for you. And if you're okay, if you're adjusted person, if you're a modern person, not looking for something, who will be just staying in the kitchen, give you sex by your first demand without any headaches or being sick or whatever, will be obeying absolutely, never will argue with you, and will do all her home job. I would call it home job, though it's not the right definition in English, but I would call it home job because that's job, and sometimes even harder than going to office, because it's routinious and physically it's devastating and exhausting to be constantly doing the same things. And really, women can be tired doing all that stuff all day long. So, guys, that was the video I wanted to discuss with you, to share with you my opinion, because I guess probably you will be interested to listen my insight from the point of view of person who is living here, who knows the tradition and culture. So he actually is very close for understanding how things are working here. And hopefully that was useful. Unfortunately, I don't have time today, so the time is over. Yeah, for answering your questions or comments. I'm really sorry. Yeah, but I want to say hello and goodbye to everybody. Thanks, of course, to everybody who found that possible to come today to join me. I wish all of you absolutely nice Saturday. Hopefully weather is fine. Hopefully you will have someone to talk, to communicate, to get to go somewhere, and you will have your positive emotions, which actually should be on your weekends because it's your rest days. It's a special days for you to have a rest, and rest is always a pleasant thing. So, guys, I will be here tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Ukrainian, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow we're gonna discuss practical advice, like instructions for those who plan to go to visit, to attend Ukraine. Yeah, some tips I will give you. Anyway, come tomorrow, and tomorrow we're gonna have much more time for interaction with you. Sorry if I wasn't able to answer your question. Please remember your question and ask me them tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow I will give you some short instruction, and then I will spend the rest of the time answering your questions. Once again, don't be offended, okay? And I'm really sorry for that. And see you tomorrow, guys. Have a great Saturday. See you tomorrow.